All right, welcome back to Anticipate Creativity. So I'm sitting here with Annika, and you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Annika. I work in finance, but I only work in finance to fund my creative hobbies, where I'm in a band called Lure of Lilith. Just gonna add that. And I do a lot of painting, I make jewelry. I'm currently trying to learn how to make a rug. That's a whole process. That's a lot more technical right now than the creative part. And yeah, I write a lot of poetry. I think that's probably the biggest one. But
Yeah. I feel like you have a type of personality that likes to approach problem solving and puzzles. Mm-hmm. Would you say that's true?
Oh yeah, I'm a big puzzler.
Yeah.
That's the thing that drove me to math, actually, was puzzles and figuring out patterns and stuff like that. And I think, that's definitely a big part of my personality.
Yeah. And you were mentioning before we started recording how you were thinking about implementing numbers into. Can you tell me more about that?
About with the music?
Yeah.
One? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My bandmate Nick and I were talking last Wednesday, I think, and he was describing his creative process, and he's very right-brained, but he's got like a similar way of thinking, I would say, to me. And for one, we were looking at creating a directory of frequencies and how like it affects different things like water, because I don't know if you saw that there's a study that like frequencies can affect the structure of water, and like more positive frequency makes it more like aligned and more negative makes it more like chaotic, and that like directly affects your body too. So we were looking at different ways to create a song that incorporates different frequencies to different like beats that like scientifically make you feel better.
Wow.
And I'm not sure, that was like a very like new, we're throwing back and forth. He makes a lot of heavy metal stuff, so we're trying to get a cool, I don't know, vibey beat of some kind through that.
Wow. I would love to hear that.
I know, I think it's going to take a lot of work to put together, but we'll really sit down and try that.
Yeah, I love the concept where you're like really pushing in a new boundary, or at least me, I'm not really that familiar with the music world, like the ins and outs of it, but it just sounds like a really cool new depth to jump into.
Yeah. My bandmate Nick, I remember he came off stage once and he was talking about how we just make music and make people feel. Like that is such a big power. And he just was like, I don't know, he acknowledged that power. And I was like, that is so cool that you think that way. That makes me really reflect on those. And I don't know, he's real cool.
Wow. Yeah. So historically, with math, we went to the same college.
Yes.
We went to Augsburg University, formerly known as Augsburg College. And that's how I met Annika, and through different like Augsburg events and stuff.
Yep.
Definitely volunteering at homecoming or something like that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I created a lot of the merch that we had there.
What?
Yeah.
Is it still like active or?
I don't think so. I don't know if you got one of those pins that was like the logo and then Augsburg University, and it had the little colors on the bottom.
Cool.
I made those.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it seems you've been involved with creativity for a long time. So growing up, are there some things that you were like drawn to in terms of creating things or just like thinking of creative ideas?
Yeah, my mom, she plays piano, so she had my sister and I play piano, and that was like, I feel like music was really something that was the beginnings of my creative like side. And also my dad, in our basement, he would set up little still scenes and we'd all draw it together, and my sister and I and him would draw whatever still scene he set up. So we had a lot of creativity in my family, I would say. And yeah, I don't know. Mostly just those. I feel like when I was younger, I was really into like sports and math. And then the creative stuff was on the side. I really wanted to be a singer. That I knew for sure. But I didn't know, I wasn't really good at expressing my emotions, and I think creativity directly comes from your emotions. So once I got older is when like I channeled all those skills that I learned as a kid and then used it to create, actually, where before I was just replicating, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like that's the evolution of many artists too. You have to start by replicating, and then you find your own vision, your own personality.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the path that I took. And I don't know, it's so crazy too to look at my old art and how it's evolved, because I used to draw a lot of like comic book stuff, and then I just got into like realism, and then I got into this, I don't know, it was a combination of realism and abstract and graffiti, and it was just like a modge podge of stuff. Would be my paintings, that's how they would end up, kind of like an I Spy book is what I would always describe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I feel like that's something that you've like just channeled from an early age. And it seems like you're not afraid to just follow your passions and not limit yourself to one domain too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always say I'll try everything once. I'm so afraid of public speaking. Like doing even this podcast, I would not have been able to do this 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I had to figure out a way to make myself brave, because I knew I wanted to be in a band, even if it was just like a local whatever band. I just knew that I wanted to do that, but I had no ability to speak in front of anyone. So I started by calling into the radio and talking on the radio, because I was like, okay, I'm anonymous. I'm like forcing myself to talk with an audience. And then I moved to karaoke, and then I moved to my band, which the first time I sang, I was like shaking.
Wow.
Yeah.
And circling back to the radio, like what radio would you call into?
KS 95. They're my favorite. I listen to their morning show like every morning. It has to be a part of my routine. If I miss it, my whole day's off. I don't know.
Wow. You're day one. I love it. I respect it.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool. So would you get on air a decent amount then?
So they have this like thing where it's called Love 'em or List 'em, and somebody calls with a problem and you can call in with advice. And I'd call into there. I never called to try to win things, because that was way less likely, but a lot of the times the advice thing, like people just don't want to call, and I was like, okay, I can just call and try to give advice. And I think they're recorded and posted in like Apple iTunes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm very curious. I want to listen to some of those later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's probably from 2019. So you might have some scrolling to do.
Yeah. Some pre-pandemic advice.
Much different world.
Yeah. So when you were in college and after college, when did you start getting involved with the band? Was this post-college?
Yeah, this was only last year that we started our band. Before that, I was still like semi-writing songs, but I would just play a piano and a ukulele. That's the only thing I know how to play. And when I was in college at Augsburg, I got the code to the piano practice rooms. So then if I was just like feeling, I don't know, sad or something, I would just go to the practice rooms and I'd play piano and sing just by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like that's such a great mechanism for you to channel those feelings into something that's soothing and productive.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, I think expressing my feelings I can only do through some kind of art form is what I've realized, because otherwise then my brain like stops me, because I'm a very logical thinker because of the math and stuff. But so like I remember a couple weeks ago I was feeling sad, but I just couldn't cry until I grabbed my ukulele and started playing some sad chords and then just started like singing how I felt and recorded that, and I might turn it into a song. It's pretty sad. But
yeah, I think that's great. I think that being able to use that, I think that as humans it's like a form of self-expression. So I think that it's natural to take your own experiences and transform them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when it comes to creating songs with your band, what does that look like as a group? Does everyone come individually into a space and with their own ideas?
Typically, I would say, so my bassist, he is very active in creating like music. Like he creates start to finish songs like 3 a day or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he is very passionate about his music and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
So we tend to rely on him to create the music, but we'll meet up all together and create. But it is a little bit harder because like my sister's really good at the piano. He's really good at creating and I'm like good at poetry. So like I sometimes have a hard time like helping create the beats. But what Nick does, he'll be like snowboarding or something. And as he's snowboarding, he feels the snow hit his snowboard through his feet. And then he remembers that like pattern and then puts it into a song.
Wow.
Yeah. So all of his creativity, I would say a lot of his creativity comes from like external sources, and then his like when he sings, because we do some screamo and he does the screaming and when he does, that's like the emotion that comes from within. But I would say a lot of it comes from external, and then he turns it into what he's feeling in the moment too.
Yeah. And these are the types of things I just love hearing, because like when you think about different artists, just like taking anything in your own sensation or anything in a room or experience outdoors, like, and turning that into music, that's beautiful.
I know. I praise him like every day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just so cool. I wish that I was able. It does take practice. He's been in bands since high school and he knows his way around like the computer and everything. Where like for me, it's like I can do the ukulele, like the 4 chords of the ukulele and write a song that way. So it is fun to be a part of, I don't know, creating something new and cool. But we should have, I think, at least 2 songs out in April of some point. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's exciting. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
And I think I've seen that you have performed some live shows as well. And can you tell me about that experience? It sounds, from your first experience practicing with a band to like playing a live performance.
Yeah.
How has that gone for you?
It was terrifying the first time. We only did covers for last year because we were just learning how to be a band together. And the first show was a house cooling party. My friend's husband's brother, he hosts a lot of like really fun theme parties, and they were moving out of this house, and they used to host a hot dog party there every year on Hot Dog Day or around Hot Dog Day, and it's really big. But the house cooling party was like just an event to say goodbye to his house, and he had a few bands playing and we were the openers, and it was like a big crowd of people. There was like at least 40 or so people, I would say, like in this small room, and it was just me with a microphone just looking, and I'm like, I have the power here. Like I need to get people, my job right now is to bring the vibes.
Yeah.
And so I got super scared, and like the hardest part for me was in between songs finding something to say.
Yeah. I think about that like when I am seeing a live show, like I've never been in that position, but
yeah. So the first show I just said Laffy Taffy jokes.
That's great. Did you memorize them, or did you literally have the Laffy Taffy?
I was going to bring Laffy Taffies, but then I was like, that's ridiculous. And then when I got on stage, I'm like, oh, I need the jokes. So I looked them up on my phone, and I was just saying jokes to everybody because I didn't know how to do anything else.
That's entertaining. That's like a little bit of stand-up.
A little, yeah, exactly. I would love doing stand-up. That would be fun too, I would say. That's scary. That's much scarier than a band.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's like public speaking with getting a specific result. Mm-hmm. You're anticipating a specific result. And yeah, so.
Yeah. I have a whole one of my goals is to do like an open mic once in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because that's like a whole different type of creativity, I would say. And I'm probably mostly skilled in making people laugh.
Yeah. I appreciate that because I have some experience doing some improv comedy, like
yes,
group
I want to
improv.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's fun. I think I like being able to bounce ideas off each other, and you don't know how a scene is going to go, and it's all about the collaborative experience.
Yeah. Where did you do that at?
I did one class through Comedy Sports
Okay.
and one class through Huge Theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to sign up next year for one of them.
Yes. Anyways, so talking about like the whole experience of like post college, do you feel like you had the anticipation of getting work right away? Do you feel like you were able to dive into some creative projects and stuff, or how did you feel post college?
So right after I graduated undergrad, I went right into graduate school, and I was
Wow.
playing my 5th year of lacrosse because we had COVID. So I was in grad school, I was playing lacrosse, and I was working my full-time new job at 3M. And so I was doing a lot then, and I didn't really have as much space for creating, I would say, up until I graduated from grad school, which was 2021, I think. So once I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much time, because I was like done with sports, I was done with
Yeah.
school finally, and I was still working. But since I was so filled with time, I felt like I had so much energy, so I put it into painting. I'd say right out of college, my main thing that I did was paint. I painted whatever. I did a lot of crazy, funky, like colorful stuff, because I think like right after college too, I was like finally settled within myself too. So I felt like I had just like this emotional release that was on like these paintings that I will never sell. Like I bring them to art sales and people want to buy them, and I'm like, you can't have them. These ones are not for sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think some things are just like so precious and important to you and part of your own experience. So,
Yeah, it's like a diary, but like in picture form.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to think about all your creative experiences have led you to where you are now. And yeah, personal experiences too. And so like some of the art that you do, I don't know if I know that much about like the art that you produce.
Yeah, so I would say all of my paintings come from an emotional place, I would say. Whenever I try to create something that is like either like a replica of a painting that I won't sell because I'm like, oh, people like this one, so I might as well make it again. And it never turns the same. Like, I have to be in a state of something to create almost anything. A lot of my like 2021 paintings are like more, I don't know, messy and complicated because I was going through like a self-discovery at the time. I had, I don't know, this terrible boyfriend and just like learning how to do things on my own for the first time, and just the pressure of deciding like who I was and what my value came from, because my value for a long time just came from me being good at school. So then I graduated and I was like, okay, now I'm in a corporate environment that is not the same as school, and like I have a ton of freedom that I haven't had before. So I don't know, I dove into the deep end of, I don't know, just not a good boyfriend, not a good time, just doing whatever, because it was also COVID, so I was at home a lot. So I feel like a lot of my earlier paintings have a lot of complicated emotion within them that at the time when I was painting it, I didn't even know what I was painting and what it meant until later on, like years down the line. I like looked at them. I looked at one of my paintings last night that's hanging up in my like hallway, and I just looked at it and I forgot about parts of it because it's just so complicated. I don't know. I can show you a picture too, but we're on a podcast, so like
Yeah.
the viewers can't see.
Right, yeah, yeah. But I think that I like this medium too because you're painting a picture of your art, and I think it's fun for this medium just to imagine what you're illustrating with your words.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because I always like to use very non-natural colors in my paintings. I feel like my paintings tend to be very, I don't know how to describe it. It's like kind of futuristic and very bright, very colorful, but everything looks really nice and pretty. But then, like, when you look deeper into it, then it's, oh, this is like sad.
Yeah.
I think I create a lot of things from my like being sad, especially winter. I can't write like a happy, upbeat song in winter. It has to be like this, just like sad, depressing, seasonal depression type Noah Khan stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's really channeling who you are, and it would feel false to try to do something otherwise.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to be real with yourself.
And it's much more freeing, I feel, to use like your negative emotions to create something than to destroy yourself. Like, I feel like if I don't paint or if I don't write music, then I'm just like sitting and either scrolling on Instagram or doing something stupid that is just not productive in any way. So I try to, if I sit down and open Instagram, I usually just delete Instagram off my phone and then re-download it because I use it for like communicating and posting my art and posting stuff. But like, I try to keep it off my phone because otherwise that is just sucking my energy.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like this will be a topic that will come up on my creative discussions, but just like relationship to social media and how it's becoming more and more challenging to navigate that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Mentally, and it works different for each and every one of us. But I like your approach, just to know your limits and boundaries with it.
Yeah, I definitely, because I mean, I basically grew up with Instagram. It was a thing when I was in middle school. So, like, I've had one for so long. And it's almost just like natural, a part of, especially a lot of people my age, it's just like an extension. Your phone is an extension of yourself, is what many people experience. And I think it takes away a lot of authenticity because you see everybody else. So I see online, I see people that are just like me, and I sit and I think, oh, I'm so unique. And then I see a ton of people that are just like me. And that is comforting, but it's also isolating, I feel like, because then it's, oh, am I just a product of my environment? And I feel like it sends me into a mental state that I just don't love to be in.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like self-expression and identity, it's really important to feel secure within yourself, and I think that, would you say that getting off social media helps with that, or just like embracing your own individuality?
Yeah, I think being off of social media has helped me a lot because I don't have TikTok, I don't have Facebook, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Snapchat. Instagram's the only one that I like go back and forth on, and YouTube, but I watch a lot of podcasts on there. And I feel like since I've gotten rid of them, which Instagram's been off and on, but like January 1st of this year, I got rid of everything else. And I like get bored, and then I find myself reaching for my phone, and then I'm like, okay, I have a list of things I need to do and things that I want to do. And so if I get bored and try to grab my phone, I try to go to my list and I'm like, pick one of these.
Yeah.
Because there's always things to do. And it feels, especially I feel like with people with ADHD and like time issues, I have such a hard time processing time and knowing, like coming here, I like woke up and I'm like, I don't have time to do anything else. I woke up at like 7:45 and I was like, I don't have time to do anything else. But then I'm like, you just want to go on Instagram and look at other people. So instead of doing that, I was like, okay, I can make my bed, I can set things up and make things like my environment comfortable, because I need a comfortable environment to do anything. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you're really prioritizing what's best for yourself, but the time aspect is, I feel like that's so relatable in this modern age.
Yeah. Oh, I have an hour before this. Might as well just look at Instagram for that hour. And then, okay, you could have painted or tried to make a rug or anything, read a book. That's the thing that I've been trying to like bring a book around with me places so that if I get bored, I can have something.
Yeah,
I can do.
That's great. And I think that's so wholesome in this modern day and age to to have a book. And yeah, I was talking to a painter yesterday, and she was saying the same thing. Like, yeah, I brought a book, and I think it's something that it's good to return back to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a solid reader. It takes me forever to read a book, but it's nice.
Yeah, in this day and age, like I love, obviously we're doing a podcast right now. I'm
Mhm.
getting more into like podcasts and being open to audiobooks. And I think it's good to set aside intentional time to read a book or consume that. But I think I fall prey to, okay, I want to be able to multitask while I'm like listening to this book.
Yeah.
And which I can do, but maybe it's a different effect if I were to go on a walk instead of focus on something cerebral.
Yeah. It takes such practice to be able to take in all the information you're getting while like doing something else. I find myself like with podcasts I'll rewind over and over because I'm like I do want to listen to this, but I'm trying to clean, and then I just find all these other things that just multitasking is really not super possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to your list of things that you focus on sometimes, so what do you think are some of the things that are typically on your list? Is it like art related? Is it music related? Or what is typically on your list?
On my list that I want to do, there's there's I think write a song or make a rug. That's like a big one right now. Or work on a stand-up routine.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, yeah. I'm trying to think of what else is on there. I think also going through and getting rid of clothes, but there's some clothes that I want to like keep and make into something new, reuse them. But yeah, it's a lot of art related stuff, I would say, because that's always what I want to do. But then I get like tired, or like, I don't know, kind of get myself in the right mood to do sort of some of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just setting aside flexible time for it to come to you and not be like, okay, like I need to be creative right now. I have to do this right now.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I feel like, because there will be times where I'm like, I don't know, I'm like out and about doing something, and I'm like, I have the perfect feeling to go home and make a painting right now. And I'm like, should I just leave? If I'm at like a bar or something and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I could really make a painting.
That's cool.
It's like, you have to just decide, are you going to go home and make it? Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But
I say bring the canvas to the bar.
that's so fair. I've been wanting to do painting like out in public and painting what I see, because that's what I used to do a ton. And I have a ton of like psychedelic looking paintings where I painted what I was seeing, but I changed the colors of everything. So like I painted a waterfall that like the trees are like blue and purple and the sky is red, and it's just like looks so weird. And I put like little sparkles and like fairies and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, because I don't know, it just sometimes I like to paint what I see, but then I'm like making something a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, and I want to also touch into what inspires you for poetry, because I don't really write any poetry. What do you think is the creative process behind your poetry, and what is your impression?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what's going on. But I do remember in college, I used to go out, and I was pretty sheltered, so I liked to do a little bit of reckless things in college. And so I would go out by myself at 1 till 3 a.m. and just walk around outside, because I don't know why. And I would bring a notebook and a piece of paper, or a notebook and a pencil, and I would just write about what my surroundings were. And oftentimes it was like either like some kids getting in trouble, or I remember this one guy, he was on a bike and he was playing like really loud music and like singing really loud to the music, but he just seemed so cool and just like in his own little world. And I wrote like a whole like long poem just about him biking past me.
Wow.
Yeah, I really, for my poetry, I like to take things from like externally a lot. I would say. And then there's a lot of ones that I do internally, or from my internal experience, but I do like to observe what's outside me and write it down in a way that flows.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of ties back to your bandmate with the musical inspiration too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. He's writing a lot of angry music. I'm like, I'm not angry right now. I gotta get angry.
Oh, time to get angry.
What's gonna make me angry? Gotta figure that out. Just haven't been very angry lately. Usually I'm pretty angry. Like that was a big emotion for me for a while. And lately I have been just chilling. It's just nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is totally fine. And yeah, so what do you say are, if you have a whole day free, what would be your ideal day?
Ideal day. Ideally, I would love to wake up and go on a run at 6 a.m. I want to be that type of person. Haven't quite made it to that being a daily routine yet. But ideally, I'd go out at 6 a.m., do a run or a bike ride or something, even just like a walk. And then I had totally free. The problem is I do, like, when I wake up, I just do. So I like to plan things. I need to, like, plan things. I have a calendar and I have to write down, like, the important things. But on a daily basis, I just wake up and I do what happens. So, like, I probably right now it would look like going on a run and then eating breakfast, getting a coffee at my local coffee shop that I love, and maybe bringing a book there. And then probably going home and making a rug and sitting with my cats. And I like to put on lo-fi beats and then I rap to my cats.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. Even another layer of creativity right here.
It's the only thing I can rap about are my cats. Because I'll just look at them and I'm like, you're so fluffy. I don't know.
That is so cool. I love that. And you have an audience right there.
Yeah. And I don't know if they enjoy it, but one of my cats, whenever I sing, she bites me. I don't know what it is. She doesn't like my music or something. That's fine.
Maybe your cat's really supportive, but also your biggest critic.
Yeah, it's probably true. It's Bert, so she's got a big personality.
Okay, yeah.
She's large and in charge.
Bert meowls. Okay, that was a stretch. Yeah. With a close friend of mine, sometimes we will get into freestyling as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's been a while, but I don't take myself very seriously at all. And I think it's a good way, it's a good outlet to just let thoughts and funny concepts just flow.
Yeah, I can never do something super serious because my brain will like trip over the words. But I'll be in the car, just like one time my headlight was out and I was like, my front headlight's not out anymore or not working. And I just kept, I don't know, just because it was stressing me out because I was like, It was dark. And I was like, if I get pulled over with my front right headlight. And so I just started freestyling about it.
Wow. Ironically, my front right headlight is out right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah. If you
Gotta
really
make a freestyle about it.
I'm very inspired now. Yeah. There'll be like the front right headlight mixtape EP.
Hell yeah.
You can guess what the album cover looks like.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, but overall, I think that it's great to think about the perfect day, or just that's something like a yoga teacher told me once. It's just envision like what would like an ideal day look like to you, and then the more and more you think about it, like how can you get closer and closer to that, or implement aspects of those day into your life.
Yes, that's what I've been trying to do, and I'm a very list type person. And I have a list of my perfect morning routine and a list of my perfect night routine. And it's on a dry erase board. And I wrote it with wet erase markers. And then I check them off with my dry erase ones and then clean it off every morning because I literally can't remember. I want to do all the things that include like in a normal person's routine, wash my face. And the things that like clothes, the night up or open the morning. Like I'm trying to, I don't know, consistently address each day, I would say. And I got this toothbrush that's awesome. It like connects to your phone and you can watch how much, or if you've covered all your teeth.
Oh.
And that has helped me so much because I'm like excited to brush my teeth. And I actually left it in Hawaii when I went there. And it threw everything off, but the Airbnb host sent it back to me because I was like, please, this is an essential part of my routine right now.
Wow, cool. I'm really curious about that too. If that could help me out when I'm brushing my twofers. And were you able to reflect on a lot of things in your recent trip out to Hawaii?
Yeah, I went on a solo trip. So
Wow.
I was there for 7 days by myself. And it was awesome. I read a full book in that whole time because I would just go to the beach and I'd read, or I'd sit alone and I'd read. I'd go out to dinner and I'd just bring the book with me because my goal was to finish it. And I also, there's this thing in Maui called the Road to Hana. They have one big highway that you go on. And it is like very windy and very terrifying, and I drove it by myself and there's no service either. So it was terrifying, and I didn't have radio, I didn't have music to listen to, I didn't have anything. So I was driving by myself, windows down, raining, and I wasn't freestyling. I was doing this thing called yoiking.
Oh.
It's a Norwegian, it's like yodeling, but a little bit different. And it's like a Norwegian thing, and it was because the nature was just so pretty, and I was like, I can't like freestyle here. It's not like the vibe. And yoiking tend to be for farmers to call their sheep back in and to sing to the nature, to like nature in general. So I was just with my windows down, I was just like yoiking a lot.
Wow.
I don't know. But like for this 2.5 hour trip just by myself.
Wow, that sounds like a great place to be able to do that. Just have that freedom and you probably don't know anyone in that area.
Oh, I ran into somebody that I know.
Really?
From Minnesota, yes. I literally ran into a friend that like, I haven't seen her in 4 years. She went to the U and it was so random. I was like, I heard my name, she said, Annika. I was like, what? Like I'm so far away from home. Who knows me?
Wow, yeah. So then you could practice the yoiking.
Perform for them, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. So moving into the last part here, I was wondering if you have one piece of advice for any young creator or upcoming creatives just relating to your life.
I feel like I'm going to take this from the book that I read in Hawaii because it really helped me. I think it was called something about thinking. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was called because I was going to bring it, but I gave it to a friend.
That's wholesome.
Yes. But basically the book was about like stopping your thinking, where a thought is something that comes naturally into your head. A thought is something that like sometimes you can't even decipher what the thought is. But then afterwards, if you're like trailing on about something, then you're thinking, and you can control your thinking. You can't control your thoughts. And thoughts tend to be positive, thinking tends to be negative. And for me, when it comes to creating, I'll have a thought and then I'll have doubts. And the thought came so naturally and has this good feeling of, oh, I want to create, I want to paint right now. And I have this concept in my head. And then my brain will start like calculating out what that'll look like. And it's like, my brain will try to predict if the outcome will be positive or negative and if I should choose to do this painting. Which in creativity, that has nothing to do with, you can't calculate out if it's going to be successful or not because it's not something that can be measured on that scale. So I'm trying to live this advice myself is if I have a thought, I'm just going to do it. And like thinking can come later where like I want to keep my life on track. I have goals. I try to do quarterly goals and all this stuff. But if I have a thought and I have free time and there's nothing holding me back, I'm just trying to just do that thing. Because I feel like the biggest thing is just doing it. Like people are like, all the time will be like, why, or like, how do you do all these things? And I'm like, I just do it. I just get up and I do it. Like, singing took so much practice. I practiced over and over and over again, like that. And then I was brave enough to finally do it. And painting, I just like did it. I don't know, just I got supplies and I just painted. Like, I feel like so many people are intimidated by like making a mistake and doing it wrong and failing. People are afraid of failure when creativity has nothing to do with failure. It's not on that scale.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That's so deep. And yeah, I think that it's good to take that into account and not thinking about the outcome. You're focusing on the actually doing it.
And enjoying doing it at the same time. If you find yourself like not enjoying it anymore, then it's usually not going to end up in the way that like your thought wanted it to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we are on the podcast, just doing it.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
Nike.
Yeah. It's so funny the amount of times my name will be autocorrected to Nike in text.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
N-I-K. Many relatives, many friends.
Nike.
Yeah.
Is it a Greek god? Nike's a god of something. I don't know. Yeah.
A god of cool shoes.
Yep. That's it.
Yep. All right. Send us your shoe ideas. But no, thank you so much, Annika, for a great creative discussion today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. Have a good day.
Bye.